Let's see what this is bot player checks. M is bot. All right. Yeah, we can run on anything though. Like, the dedicated server runs on Windows. It runs on pretty much any version of Linux. It's really not a big deal. So we're not going to report stats for bots. On team change, doesn't matter. On goal, own goal. Get touch stats for player, reset stats. We don't have to deal with reset stats, do we? Let's make another one in here with wall hit for the player states. Why do I even care about wall hits? Could be interesting. Well, do we have a wall hit in telemetry? Yeah, where do we call you? Well, looks like we don't. So let's see, on wall hit, is that something we put in here for our game mode? We don't even have it on wall hit. Okay, so we have all that. We need victory and defeat. Should we do that in the player state as well? I mean, if we're pushing all the stats through the player state already, why not push more, right? Okay, so we have on victory, we have on defeat, and the next thing we'll do is this game mode. Report match stats. Alright, well, we'll just do that. So things to add, we need wall hits, we need victory, we need defeat. And now that we actually have stats, I wonder how many people are going to be switching their teams at the last second. And like, oh, I don't want to be on the losing team, son of a bitch. You make the other team lose. It's true. Let's add some more stats. Wins in a row and loss in a row. What was this getting all pissed about? Oh, it's just complaining that I edited a header file halfway through and it just freaked the hell out and broke. Alright. So let's do our victory and loss in a row here. Alright, so basically if what was it, stat dot win in row is greater than 0, else if stat dot loss in row is greater than 0. So if win in row is greater than 0, we want to increment our value by what we've got. So we're going to say take our win row and increment it by this value, and it is an adjustment. And this loss in row, we're going to set that to this guy, and it's not going to be an adjustment, it's going to be a set. And then we'll do the exact same thing here, where this one will be not an adjustment, this one will. So what we'll get is this will increment the thing that we're supposed to increment and not increment the thing that we don't want to increment. So we'll get streaks. So we'll be able to say, oh man, your wins in a row is set to this value. We'll see. It's not perfect. Because we're not hanging on to your high score. I mean, it's just your current stats, so it's not like your highest posted stats. So if you win 8 in a row, it's not going to remember 8 in a row. It's just going to say, well, you've won 8 in a row. So if you have a streak and you want to put it in the high score table at the end of the week, you're going to have to not lose. And if you lose, it goes back to 0. So you have the high score, but then you lose, and it'll be like, oh, I got 12 wins. Now I'm at 0. Fuck. That's actually kind of an interesting... That's an interesting high score thing. Be like, you have to actually stop playing to preserve your score. Though it's only going to report... Oh, man. Yeah, let me think about this. The set is actually going to have some massive problems with this, because if you leave a match... Oh, that's funny. I mean, it's not awful. So basically, at the end of a match, it's going to report the stats. So let's say that you enter a match and you play for a couple minutes and then you leave, and that match keeps going for another 3 minutes. You enter another match and play that one, and you win. It'll say, and if your team lost on the previous one, I guess you have to be there to win, and you have to be there to lose. So at least for these naive stats, if you rage quit before the game is over, it won't count as a loss. Alright, well, we'll just keep it simple for now. Weasels don't get sucked into jet engines? It's true. The last time I saw a jet engine, there was not a weasel in it. Alright, well, we're not going to report stats yet. We need to report that at the end of the match. I mean, probably what you do in a more high budget thing is at the end of each game, your game server would post a game report to the backend servers, and the backend servers would go through and lift all the stats out of that they needed, instead of having this kind of munging on the server side to send to the backend. Because a whole game report thing would do much more than just report stats. And also a lot of those game report things, maybe the backend's down, but the game server needs to shut down, so the game server would post it to some sort of durable queue, and that game report would eventually get processed, and you'd calculate win streaks and lose streaks and everything else post facto. But I'm not doing that because I don't have a durable queue exposed, and these servers aren't always controlled by us. So we need an on match finish. So that's going to be the game mode calling into this guy to do report match stats, which means I need to make this a U function that is blueprint callable. I'll just keep it simple to start with. We're not going to go through and just like scrub all the stats and make sure absolutely everything is always perfect at all times. Because we're going to have weekly and monthly and all that leaderboards, so we'll see. We'll be able to fix things if we find stuff's all busted. It'll be interesting to see with these next few updates because we'll be introducing stats like this, high score tables for people on timescales, as well as missions. And then missions will have different things that people can compete for on leaderboards. And one of the big things we're looking for is to see if people start playing the game more often and come back and look at the leaderboards and be like, well, I'm not number one anymore. Because kind of the problem right now is we don't have enough people playing the game all at once to really form a lot of games. So if we can get people to kind of passively be playing the game sometimes, then it'll be much easier to be like, oh, there's somebody online right now kind of grinding out wins and getting their goal stat up to be a high score person right now. I'm going to jump in their game and ruin their day. Stuff like that, maybe. Facebook tactics? No, it's not Facebook tactics. We're not going after you with a with a bunch of data. Also, welcome, Karakan. I'm just working on the things. Working on the stats, the set reporting. Yesterday I got the mission data system flowing properly, which will be interesting. But you never know, the mission system might actually be something that allows us to do a lot more than just like win a match against 5 bots, right? Like the win a match against 5 bots could also be a mission for something else, and perhaps you never know. We'll see what Adam comes up with for that, because there's definitely opportunities for, like, if you disabled all the attacks for your character and then gave yourself a time limit to get over to a specific area, you've just made an obstacle avoidance course mission, right? And that's kind of like what the original Endless Runner game was supposed to be. And if we have like some obstacles that trip up Bitey, there you go. The original Flash game is basically now playable within this game as a mission. So there's some interesting things that we might be able to do with it that might surprise people. Well, every mission can be, its own little thing. We already have an on-game finished on the game mode. Oh, nice. We've already got a hookup for this. Okay, so we have that game mode, destroy all balls, net match end, set current game state and time. Sorry. So where are we going to report victory? Where do we do that? We don't. Alright, so what we need to do is set our victory and defeats here. You don't actually kill anybody. We have some ideas. I wouldn't say we have like a million ideas, but there are some things that we might be experimenting with. One of the things that I was thinking about was... Oh, one of the things with the NBA Jam talk gave me some stuff because they were talking about how people leave games if they're losing, and NBA Jam was an old coin-op game, so if you're getting absolutely crushed by somebody, you would leave, and then they don't get any money. And I was thinking, like, yeah, you know, it really feels bad if you suck at a game. So we need some sort of comeback mechanic to hopefully make games a little bit more even. And there are a few ways we might be able to do that. But one of them was perhaps we could have an auto aim assist that would totally be cheap and horrifying, but would be hilarious and work and piss people off, but be fun. But we'll see. I'll have to take a look at it. Basically, like if you hit the ball, if you're like super losing, the ball would just go straight for the goal. Just like, nah, good job. You hit the ball, buddy. It's going in. Perfect. It would be super fucking cheap, but whatever. We could see how it plays. It's like if you're losing on the forest map from like the other side of the map, and you just hit it, and just goes all the way across the map on the goal. You're just like, fuck. Exactly. Player proxy actor. Alright, so we want to get player state. Cast to Dashkin player state. Player state is a Dashkin player state. Alright. So if this is valid, so what do we want to do with this? We are going to check your team. Where do we have like the match finished? Is that in telemetry? Alright, so we need to figure out the winning team here, so yeah, local variable, winning team. Alright, so left is red, so if the left team score is greater than that, so that's output 1, this is output 2, and this is output 3. So let's do this, then let's do this. Let's actually start using some of these sequence nodes. So if this is equal to the winning team, alright, well, we'll see if winning team is none. So we want to say if the winning team is not none, then we do this. So let's see. Try to organize this in some sort of hopefully not ridiculous fashion. Set your call on victory and on defeat for everybody. If there's actually a win. I'm not going to count a tie as anything. I guess I should add a tie here somewhere. So let's just close all this down. Because we need to set the matches played. Non-ridiculousness is overrated. Well, we'll see. Kind of the idea was that the game right now is... It's kind of like with Rocket League, super pro players don't use ball cam because they know where the ball is, because it's in their brain. So what would be kind of the difference in our game? And right now, like, everything is very analog with hitting the ball into the goal. If there was basically an easy mode to get the ball into the goal, such as, it's kind of like the same thing in like Dungeons and Dragons, where you could climb up a ladder, but can you climb up a ladder with an orc screaming at you and trying to chop your feet off? Well, it's a different thing, right? So if we had an ability basically where your guy charges up and then does a move that hits the ball into the goal basically 100% of the time or close to it, that would allow... Basically, if you had breathing room, you could like do this, move that you basically are completely vulnerable while doing. That takes a little while, and you hit it just right, and it just goes in. And then basically, you'd have people doing that, which would be really interesting. I don't know. Well, it's basically going to be, we need some more abilities, because right now we basically have no abilities. We have none abilities. So I don't know. Well, abilities are after we get the missions and after we get the stats, and then it's off into all that stuff. So some of the other things were that some of the talks were like, you need a plan to have really spectacular failure moments for players. And I was like, yeah, some of the most memorable things in games that I've played are where I almost made it and just got my ass kicked. Kind of like Tom Cruise running and jumping across the gap and then breaking his ankle. Nobody would care if he didn't break his ankle. So having some stuff where just maybe some part of the game where you can really gamble on something and just completely screw it up. Or like you got something in the bag and you're like, oh, I'll win this one. And then like you just you do something that you should nail 99% of the time and then you just completely fuck it up because it's your fault. And just be like, oh, what have I done? This is horrible. So I'm building this up so I can add the ties. I feel like I'm kind of making a mess with code here. But how else would I do it? Like, I need a big game report system and like all this other shit. Man. That's always a thing. Is yeah. Yeah, building in kind of a system where you can fail spectacularly and it's your fault. Such as, if you're trying to beat a boss in Dark Souls and like you apply like all of your buffs. Like I remember one time, and this is the thing, I actually remember some of these where I was trying to fight the ancient dragon in Dark Souls 2 and I get up there, like I summon two multiplayer online helpers to help me out. I buff up my weapon. I've got like all this shit ready to go and I'm like, "Yeah, it's time to go kick this ancient dragon's ass." And I run out there, sprinting at this big ass dragon. It comes down and it does its flame thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna do its flame thing, and I'm gonna roll through the flames. I've got it just perfect, so I'm gonna do this, and then like I fuck it up by a quarter of a second and just roll into the flames at the wrong angle and just die, and I've lost all the items I used. The two people that got summoned in to help me didn't even get a chance. Like they ran in there right behind me and just watched me just eat shit. And they're just like, really? Like, are you for real? Like, they applied buffs too. It was like, we're gonna really do this, and just like, boom, get the hell off my, get off my lawn, you fucking knights. This is some bullshit right here. And yeah, so that was really funny, and I think we need some of that. So I need an if-else gate here. And basically the condition is if it doesn't equal null, do 1, which is going to be this on tie. And then otherwise we're going to do condition 2, which is this. So we just do it right there. And we don't really have anything like that in our game where it's just all of a sudden like I've made a horrible mistake. Well, we have things, where like you can completely screw it up because it's multiplayer, right? You can just accidentally own goal yourself, or miss a ball on defense or something crazy. But there's not like this big buildup where I used all my stuff and I thought it was going to be awesome. Like if you had abilities that you were using and you had like some resource like mana in order to cast them, and like you hit all the buttons and you're like, I'm gonna freeze time, jump up, do like the perfect hit on the ball, and blow away the players at the same time, and then you like freeze time, but somebody was like punching you at the same time as you freezing time, and then like you just freeze time while your dude eats shit across the map, and you're just like, oh god, well that was a waste, like what have we learned here today? Like, oh yeah, don't suck. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so we have ties. We'll have the match over. We should report stats. That should work. So we should actually be hooked up. So I need to change this guy to report to localhost. For our platform. So let's boot that guy up. And I need to boot up the platform server. Why did we make this system anyway? Nice. Okay, so we should be able to report stats. So I want to go to this reporting. So report match stats. Oh man, it's been a while. Alright, so report match stats. We have player stats, and we have in there, we have 0 wins, 0 losses, but we did win, so obviously that didn't work. 24 ball touches, slides, kicks, punches, wall hits, matches played. Yeah, wall hits is something we need to do. Wins in a row. And then we didn't actually report it. So what we need to do is boot up this arena level. And end the match. Let's go here and change our arena level stuff here. We need we're playing the debug Bracken sack? Yeah. Let's go ahead and change this to score to win 1. Yeah, 0 files to check out. Thanks for telling me, Unreal. That's real helpful. Alright, so get the game state. Branch true, true. So the winning team is blue because left team is greater than that, so this is false. I really wish they'd actually tell me the fucking, variables here, as opposed to just being like, well, it's an integer. Be like, I know it's an integer. It's on an f struct. How come I can't see f struct variable names? Alright, so this one is true, so that's why we're going here. But why is this just mixed up? Like, have we just got a horrible bug inside of all of our stuff here? Okay, this is the wrong thing. So we're going to say if this is equal to none, then do this. So that was wrong. I think I have left and right mixed up on the game state, so that's unfortunate. Player stats, we've got 1 win, when in a row 1 and 1 and all that stuff. So let's go down and see what we actually get for our request. So our request has stats false and stats is empty. Request.set stats. Okay, yeah, we need to actually set it here. Yeah. So request has stats is true. We have one stat. We have has account ID true. Has stats. The account ID is empty though. Do we have set account ID on the thing? Okay, so we definitely need that is empty there, doing that thing properly. And the next thing that we want to do is we actually want to report this to the back end. So we're going to want to snag the platform from the platform manager and call. And how did we call this up here? We called it with the TCP stuff. So it was what? U game browser TCP. It's going to be what is their service name? Stats TCP. Report stats. And just request. So just like that, we'll report it to our platform. Fix stupid errors. Alright, and we will see if all of this explodes in a horrible, violent ball of goo. Yeah, building spectacular fails. Just watch my Twitch stream. Plenty of spectacular fails all around. Do we not send our thing? Is authenticated as false. Yeah. Shit. I need to be logged in to track my stats. I could just log in and then it's a real shitty testing framework. I need to figure out what I've got for auto login, for developer login, because I know I've got a developer token. Alright, I made this a long time ago. Okay, so prompt dev login. Get environment variable, platform secret environment variable. Where are you? What are you? So Dashkin platform login directory. So I have a credential there. So we've got the secret environment variable. It looks like it is set up. And prompt dev login, get files for the cred, login start, dev token, currently logging in, set platform, should prompt login true connect. Alright, so server key path argument, attempting to log in with key path, unable to find server key. So the other thing we probably want a dev login thing, so let's do that. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we need a developer login argument. Hello. How do you get the splash loading screen to be small like you have it? In my game, it's windowed, but the same screen size as the actual game. I mean, like when we boot this guy up And we've got this guy, that little dude that pops up beforehand. That's just built into Unreal. I think the only stuff that we've ever modified with that is going to be in our project settings, stuff like that. So that's pretty sure that's what it's going to be. Oh man, 8 days to the next update. Shit, I gotta get working. Once I finish this, I'll boot up the project settings and see if there's anything in there that looks like it controls that. Alright, so let's build that. I don't know if it's in packaging settings. Packaging settings, I think, was mainly like which maps to cook and stuff like that. I think it's in like, might be like platform specific settings for Windows or some shit. I'll boot it up when it builds. It's gonna take a little bit to build.